Yo YouTube, this is my video for Wednesday the 13th of May, and I am on my way to my first of loads of jobs today. I'm going to be so busy today, you're going to be so jealous. It's going from Birmingham to Lichfield. The job itself is for a long wheelbase van job, going just over 23 miles loaded. I'm around about 12 miles away from the pickup, and I'm getting £50, 50, for this job, and I'm feeling optimistic, which is probably a nice change for these videos, and I'll tell you why. So over the last, I would say, probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've had this niggling feeling that's been bothering me about, to summarise, about my productivity. And that's in terms of work and non-work productivity. So work like this, where I earn money, and things being productive in my personal life. That would include things like eating the right foods, doing exercise, getting the right amount of sleep, quality sleep, and all of those aspects of my life I'm kind of feeling I'm not that happy with. And I just don't know why it's niggling me at this moment in time, but I feel that I need to be a bit more, or a lot more, have a lot more agency about my decisions, and to really kind of decide to do the right things more often than not. And by the right things that make me healthier, and not things that I regard as me being lazy. Now, I am mindful that this is a lot of in my head stuff, and how I see myself, and how I see success, and it's not necessarily going to always be the same. And I'm only sharing it with you because it seems like it's worth sharing. I'm not saying that I'm going to suddenly become this idealised version of myself. I probably won't, is the honest answer. But I do want to be a better version of myself, which is, I suppose, the key thing that I'm sharing here. And finding ways to do that is what I'm trying to explore now. So there are things that I know that I should do that I don't do. So I shouldn't be up really late at night playing a game on my phone, and I do that pretty much every night. I know that I should wake up earlier and get up earlier. I know that I shouldn't eat crappy foods. I know that I should go for a walk every so often. So these are all little things that I have mental blocks over that I don't do, because I'm going to, as I'm going to sort of summarise it, I feel like I'd rather not do things because I'm lazy. Now, I'm not actually lazy. I do work quite hard, and I do have, maybe a better way to put it is, a lack of motivation rather than lazy. That's probably a better way to put it. And over the last few weeks, I've been trying to work out, well, what's the solution to this feeling of malaise then? And I think basically it comes down to me just being conscious about my decisions and choosing to do the right things every single time, or more times than I do at the moment. And I understand that for me, I don't like doing that because I don't like choosing the uncomfortable option. I'd much rather choose the comfortable option. But I realise that the comfortable option doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't get me any healthier. It doesn't get me any happier in the end. It's short-term happiness for long-term kind of dissatisfaction, I would say. So, having come up with a solution, and I'm thinking maybe I need to go back to therapy as well to help with this, but I just don't really have the money for that at the moment. So that's probably going to need to wait for a bit. So I'm going to need to make some active decisions about doing things better. And one of the first ones is I've got to decide am I going to keep doing same day courier work, or am I going to not do it? Because, as I said in Friday's video, I'm now beginning to think, can I even carry on doing it the way I am? And I thought about doing a PAYE job briefly, and then I thought about what other options I have, and I thought, no, you have got the right job, you've just got to do it better, do it differently, should I say. So the obvious conclusion to that was, I'm only ever one job off making this work, and so I need to get up early and do that job at the start of the day, not rely on it on the end of the day. And I have to therefore make myself get up early, and make myself get out of the house and be available for work sort of from 7 o'clock-ish onwards. I think is probably the realistic time. And that is something that I would find very difficult and very uncomfortable to do. But it is the right thing for me to do in order to earn more money. Now, I have to then think about, how do I get to a point where I'm up at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, ready for 7 o'clock start? And I have to be on my dialysis machine at no later than 9 o'clock. So, if I end up doing a late job, or coming home later than 9 o'clock, then I can't do that. I can't get on and off the machine in time for a 6 o'clock rise. But I can at least try. I can at least aim to do that as a regular thing. So I think that's the first thing that I'm going to focus on as an active, conscious decision to do things better. Now today, which is going to be my first day, and unfortunately I had to I went to the hospital yesterday to get some antibiotics put into me. They have to be in for me for 6 hours. They didn't finish doing that till 5 o'clock. So I couldn't get drained until 11 o'clock. I wasn't on my machine until 11:30. So although today was going to be my first day, through no fault of my own, I had to do a sort of 8:30, or no, I was awake at 8:45. That's when I woke up at 8:45, and then my machine finished at 9 o'clock. So today didn't happen, but I'm kind of I'm warming up, let's put it that way. I'm like a van that needs to get warmed up to get going. Once it's going, it doesn't stop, but once it needs to get warmed up. So my aim is to structure today such that I can get home in time and be on the dialysis machine for 9 o'clock. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'm working tomorrow. I have to also bear in mind commitments that I have ahead of time, so I'll talk about those more later on this week. So that is what I'm going to try to do. I need to get home really for at the latest 8:30 today, in order for me to do an early start tomorrow. And there's nothing that I've got commitments wise for today or tomorrow. So let's see if I can achieve that for at least one day. Let's see if I can do it for one day at least. So my job now, I'm on my way. I'm going to be there in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So I'll be there about sort of 10 to 10. And then I should be finished in Lichfield, I'm going to guess about, 11 maybe, depending on traffic. And then we'll see how I can make today work. Going by previous experience in this area, being in Lichfield, quite close to Birmingham still, I'm guessing I could do 3 small jobs, or maybe try and get 4 small jobs in. But I don't know, I really don't know how it's going to go. I don't like doing that. Oh, that reminds me. Last Friday, which I think was the 1st of May, my video will not upload that I did, and I'm not gonna create it all again. I've tried so many times to upload it to YouTube, and it's just not working. But that video was a day where I did 3 jobs all around Birmingham, and I called it "Feels Like a Multi-Drop Day," because that's what it felt like. It was hot, it was non-stop concentrating on the traffic, and it was stop, start, because of the traffic and also because of the jobs. So I will do a feels like a multi-drop day if I have to, but I don't like them. So today might become that, but I don't know. It's not that hot today, so maybe it'll be different. And it's not a Friday, so maybe it'll be different because it's not a Friday. So I might try it again, just to sort of save on fuel. But yeah, so I'm kind of optimistic that I've found a solution that can mean that I can earn money. And for me, that's probably the biggest single thing that makes me unhappy, is not being able to earn my own money, the right amount of money. I love my job, I love what I do, it's just I don't quite get enough money for doing it. And I think there's a way in which I can problem solve my way out of that problem. And that involves me being a slightly different person. Right, just a reminder, if you're thinking, oh, I've got some advice for him, I'll let him know what he should do, please don't bother, because I won't listen to it, I'll react against it, and I won't take it on board. I'll probably say thank you sarcastically on the in the comments, but I won't make it so obviously sarcastic. But believe me, if I'm saying thank you for giving me advice, I am being sarcastic. Now, cue now 100 comments off me advice. Cheers guys, see you later. Okay, so I've picked up my first load of the day from a building suppliers, and I bounded into the office like a enthusiastic puppy getting his first job, and they were quite friendly, and they said go and take this to the backyard and get your items, so they knew what I was there for. And then I went to the backyard, and the first guy said go find someone else. The second guy looked very miserable, but did help me. He asked me to reverse my van back to pick up the items, and what I was picking up was 3 concrete items. One supreme pre-stressed textured concrete lintel, which was 3 meters long, and I started to try and pick it up. He picked up one end, I picked up the other, and I could barely move it, to be honest. And I wasn't going to risk it. And I said, "Oh, I can't manage this." And he got the first guy that initially spoke to me to come and help him. And I looked at the paperwork, and that item is 93 kilograms, which is way more than I can lift. As in, half of that is what, 46, 47, and I'm not meant to lift more than 20 kilograms because of my cannula. So I'm glad that I did just decide to give that a miss and not try to be a people pleaser. The other 2 offices were quite small, but they got them done pretty quickly, and then I was off site. So the actual mileage is 24 loaded miles to Lichfield. At the other end, I'm going to a care home, so I'm hoping that there's some people on site doing some work, because there's no way I can get that lintel off my van, even with help. I'm about 50 minutes from the drop-off, so I should be there at about 11:30. Hopefully it's a quick in and out, and then I'll be ready to look for another job. So I'm hoping that my next job will be picked up about 12, and that'll give me either a long job or another two more small jobs. But so far, so good. Cheers. Right, it's now 3 o'clock. I've just driven off the Tesco's at Lichfield. I arrived at the Tesco's at 11:30ish, and then I had to move off because I'd been there for 3 hours. Basically, I'd spent a lot of the time having a personal conversation or two, which came through to me, and so I kind of put work to one side. I'm now looking for work for tomorrow morning or for this afternoon, and hopefully I'll get something, but right now I don't have anything at the moment. It's looking much more busy for tomorrow morning than for now. If I get a job for now, it's going to have to be local. I don't want to end up in Halifax or Lancashire, which is what 2 jobs were, or London. So my best I can hope for is a small job locally. It takes me closer to home, and then try and get a decent job in the morning. Yeah, I'll let you know how it all goes. Cheers. Hi there, YouTube. This may be my new regular feature at the end of my videos, where I give you a contemporary look at that day, like a week later. As it was, I just went home quite soon after that last clip, having done no more work. So I basically wrote off the day, got myself home early in preparation for the following day. So these are the stats as they, if it's worth giving them for the day. Probably pretty much one of the worst days I've ever had out on the road. I didn't really regard it as being a day's work afterwards. I regarded it as being basically an aborted day. But just for the record, based on an average fuel price of 17.74 pence per mile, I drove 74 miles. I was out of the house for 6 3/4 hours. I did the one job for £50, 50. I spent £13 and 13 pence on fuel, which meant that I made £37 net earnings that day. So basically a write-off day. One of the things that I've noticed in the recent videos is that when I'm in the van, even when I'm not driving, I'm just talking at my usual volume, it comes across as being very quiet on the videos. So I'm going to try and be conscious that I need to speak louder, whether I'm static or driving, to make my voice clearer when I'm speaking. Don't always remember that I'm doing that. I'm sort of just focusing on what I'm saying rather than how I'm saying it. So this will be probably a regular feature at the end of my videos, this little bit at the end. I'm stealing it from podcasts where they do an interview, and at the end of it the people who did the interview have their own say about what happened. So I'm going to do that to myself, at least for a week or so, see if it carries on. Right, I'll see you. I'm next back at work tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Cheers. Farewell, friends.